Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine your business, your team, even your personal life maybe as a high-powered computer. We're talking about all the amazing applications that run on it, your finance, your creative ideas, your big strategies, all that stuff. But what's the fundamental power source, the invisible force that makes it all work seamlessly, reliably, day in and day out?
That's a powerful analogy. And what's fascinating, I think, is how often we just overlook that foundational element, the real core of how an organization performs. As Paramendra Kumar Bhagat explores in the source material for this deep dive, corporate culture isn't just some soft HR concept, something fluffy you put on a poster. Gary Vaynerchuk puts it perfectly, doesn't he? He argues that if you think about business like a computer, culture is the operating system. Everything else, finance, creative, strategy, those are just apps running on top. It really is the underlying architecture that lets everything else function, or, well, sometimes falter spectacularly.
That metaphor of an operating system is incredibly apt. It really resonates. Makes me wonder, though, how many businesses are running on an OS that's like outdated, buggy, or even corrupted without even realizing it. And that's really what we're here to unpack today, isn't it? So our mission is to truly dissect corporate culture operating system, greatness. We'll peel back the layers. We want to understand what corporate culture fundamentally is, why it's absolutely critical for success, how it can go wrong in, well, spectacular fashion sometimes. And most importantly, how you can deliberately build and even transform a culture for sustained greatness. You should walk away from this deep dive with a much clearer understanding of these foundational elements. You get practical insights, maybe a few unexpected perspectives you can apply directly to your own teams, your business, maybe even your personal work habits.
Okay, so to start, for an audience like ours that really follows these topics, the core definition might seem familiar, but it's worth a quick recap because the implications run so deep. At its core, it's the shared values, beliefs, attitudes, behaviors, basically how a company operates. Think of it as the collective personality of the place. Those unspoken rules, the customs, the traditions, even the inside jokes everyone just seems to get.
Yeah.
It's how people collectively navigate challenges, make decisions, interact with each other and, the outside world. It sets the tone.
Right. And it goes so much deeper than just like a mission statement or a few catchy phrases plastered on a wall in the lobby, doesn't it? Our research really highlights that corporate culture profoundly shapes employee attitudes, their motivation levels, and even the little nuances of decision-making at every single level, from the CEO right down to the newest intern. It's the atmosphere, right? The feeling you get when you walk into an office. Those unspoken expectations. Do you take initiative or wait for permission? How is feedback given? Or is it even given at all? It's just everywhere. It influences everything. Hiring, crisis management, you name it.
That's a really profound observation. And the power of a positive culture, it's truly transformative. It acts as a powerful force multiplier for success, much more than you might think. A strong, positive culture doesn't just make people feel good. It tangibly enhances morale right across the board, and that directly boosts job satisfaction. When people are satisfied, they're more engaged. And that engagement translates directly into improved productivity. It creates this virtuous cycle for the whole organization. The real insight here, I think, is that it amplifies every other investment you make. You could have a brilliant strategy, but if it's executed in a toxic culture, it'll likely falter. But an average strategy in an exceptional culture, that can still achieve greatness because the people, the human capital, are fully unleashed.
And it's become just absolutely crucial as a differentiator in today's job market, which is fiercely competitive. Let's be honest. We've seen this massive shift where top talent isn't just looking for a good salary anymore. They want purpose. They want values alignment. They want an environment where they can genuinely thrive. So a company with a strong positive culture, it can effectively attract and maybe even more importantly, retain that top talent. It fosters this deep sense of loyalty and commitment. People are far less likely to jump ship for a slightly higher paycheck somewhere else. Why? Because they feel connected to something bigger than just their paycheck. They're buying into the operating system itself.
Yeah, and we have some incredible real-world examples that really highlight this. Google, for instance, the name is basically synonymous with innovation. Their culture actively fosters risk-taking, experimentation. It gives employees that psychological safety to try new things, even to fail gracefully sometimes. And this has directly led to groundbreaking products. Google Search, Gmail, Google Maps, the list goes on. They even famously had that 20% time policy, remember, allowing employees to spend a fifth of their work hours on passion projects. That's where things like Google News and AdSense came from. It really shows the power of empowering people to think outside the box, to embrace curiosity.
Definitely. And then you have Zappos. Their customer-first approach is just legendary. Their core value, deliver WR through service, isn't just a slogan. It really permeates everything they do. Employees are genuinely empowered to go above and beyond, sending personalized thank you notes, upgrading shipping for free, spending hours on the phone helping someone find the right shoe, even if it means sending them to a competitor. That kind of dedication. It's built this intense customer loyalty. Zappos is a global case study in service-driven culture. It proves you can scale that kind of culture without losing its heart.
And Netflix has cultivated this really unique freedom and responsibility culture. It might sound a bit paradoxical, but it works incredibly well for them. They emphasize trust and autonomy. They encourage employees to make decisions, take ownership, but with the explicit understanding that accountability comes right along with that freedom. You have the freedom, you take the responsibility. And this approach, it's been super effective in attracting high-performing talent. It's allowed Netflix to stay remarkably agile in a landscape entertainment that's changing so fast. They consistently innovate because teams can move quickly.
Salesforce is another great one. They've really built their culture around equality, diversity, philanthropy. They put in place powerful initiatives like equal pay audits. That holds them accountable.
Right.
And they have extensive volunteering programs. It creates a workplace where people feel genuinely valued, inspired. And this isn't just about looking good, you know.
Yeah.
It fosters a workforce that's committed, loyal, because they feel this strong sense of purpose, belonging, which in turn attracts even more diverse and talented people. It's this virtuous cycle of inclusive growth.
And Patagonia really stands out. Their culture is so deeply aligned with environmental sustainability, you feel it. Their commitment is evident in everything. Eco-friendly products from recycled materials, donating a significant chunk of profits to conservation. This purpose-driven culture has resulted in an incredibly loyal employee base and a strong customer following. People work there and people buy from them, not just for the jacket, but because they genuinely believe in the mission. They feel those shared values. It's values-driven business at its absolute best.
Yeah, these examples really paint a vivid picture of culture's power, its transformative potential. But it's equally important to look at the flip side, because if a good OS can propel you to greatness, well, a corrupted one can bring everything grinding to a halt. The cost of a negative culture, as our sources really highlight, can be truly devastating. We're talking severe consequences. Sky-high turnover because people just can't stand being there. Dramatically decreased productivity because morale is in the gutter. And often severe reputational damage. Damage that can take years, maybe decades to repair, if it even can be repaired.
The cautionary tales are stark, and they often stem from this fundamental misalignment of priorities. Take Uber, for instance. They had this meteoric rise, right? But it was overshadowed by what the source describes as a toxic culture. This was a workplace plagued by harassment, discrimination, unethical practices, especially under the former CEO, Travis Kalanick. The company explicitly prioritized rapid growth almost at any cost, even at the expense of ethics, employee well-being. This kind of unchecked ambition without that ethical grounding. It led to widespread public backlash, major leadership changes, and undoubtedly immense employee dissatisfaction that seriously impacted their human capital.
Another prime example is Wells Fargo. They faced that massive scandal, remember? Employees creating millions of fake accounts. And this wasn't just a few bad apples acting alone. It was a direct consequence of this deeply ingrained, scandal-driven culture. A culture that prioritized aggressive, unrealistic sales targets above everything else. The pressure was so intense, employees felt they had to cheat just to meet quotas. The fallout was immense. Massive regulatory fines, a complete erosion of customer trust, significant layoffs. It just underscores how misaligned cultural priorities can completely torpedo an organization's integrity, its long-term viability. It turned a sales culture into a scandal culture.
These examples really drive home the point that cultivating a positive, supportive culture doesn't happen by accident. It's a deliberate, ongoing effort. It's a fundamental design choice for your operating system. It requires clear, intentional alignment with the organization's core values, its strategic goals, and consistent reinforcement of those values at every single level. It's a foundational commitment leaders have to make every single day.
Absolutely, and building that foundation means focusing on key elements, not just wishing for them. It starts with unwavering leadership commitment. Leaders have to walk the talk, truly embody the company's values, be living examples. Then there's clear communication, making sure everyone understands the vision, the expectations, how their role fits in. Inclusivity and diversity are absolutely paramount, fostering an environment where all voices are heard, valued. Because diverse perspectives lead to better decisions, right? Recognition and rewards are essential. Acknowledging contributions, reinforcing desired behaviors, showing people their effort is seen and appreciated. And finally, supporting work-life balance. That's critical. It enhances job satisfaction, reduces burnout, ensures employees can bring their best, most resilient selves to work. It makes the whole system sustainable. All right, so we've established what culture is and why it's so powerful, for better or for worse. But how do you actually build a high-performance operating system, one that's really designed for greatness? Our source material lays out a pretty compelling blueprint. 6 core components that truly define a great corporate culture. And these aren't just abstract ideas, they're actionable principles designed to foster collaboration, innovation, sustained success. Let's start with the first one, maybe the most fundamental.
Indeed. And if we zoom out a bit, these aren't just buzzwords, not just items to check off a list. They're foundational, actionable principles. They form the bedrock of successful organizations, doesn't matter the industry or size, and as we'll see, they influence everything. From daily tasks and individual work habits right up to grand corporate visions, even how an organization interacts with the wider world. They truly define the essence of an effective operating system. They dictate its performance.
Okay, let's dive into the first core component. Work hard. Now, this isn't just about putting in long hours, is it? It's about a deep commitment. Dedication, perseverance, consistent effort, that relentless pursuit of excellence, both individually and collectively. In practice, within a great corporate culture, this looks like fostering strong teamwork, everyone pulling in the same direction. It means actively recognizing and celebrating hard work and commitment, making sure effort is seen and valued, not just the final outcomes. It also means prioritizing tasks effectively to maximize impact, focusing resources on what truly matters, and fundamentally, avoiding shortcuts or cutting corners that compromise quality. It's about taking pride in delivering exceptional results, understanding that consistent effort compounds over time.
Exactly. And this commitment to work hard extends directly to personal productivity, which is crucial for you, the listener, whether you're managing a team or just your own workload. Our sources outline some fantastic rules for maximizing personal output. Things like setting clear, specific, measurable goals gives you direction, focus. It's also vital to prioritize tasks. Tackle the most important, most impactful ones first. Maybe using something like the Eisenhower matrix. Creating consistent routines helps build structure, automates good habits, reduces that decision fatigue, and critically, eliminating distractions. Constant social media pings, unnecessary emails, that allows for deep work. Lastly, taking regular short breaks, even just 5–10 minutes every hour. It can significantly refresh your mind, prevent fatigue, boost concentration. Tools like digital calendars, good to-do list apps, project management software like Asana or Trello, they can be invaluable here. And crucially, it's about self-management, learning to say no sometimes to tasks that don't align with your core goals, and practicing self-care, adequate sleep, exercise, hobbies to maintain long-term performance.
That self-care piece is so vital, isn't it? And it really connects back to how a healthy operating system functions. Let's take a quick deep dive into wellness, because it truly underpins your ability to work hard, effectively, sustainably. The importance of sleep and rest. It's often underestimated for productivity, creativity. Adequate rest, as the source points out, enhances memory, attention, problem solving. It literally makes you smarter, more efficient. It actually boosts creativity. The brain consolidates memories, sparks new insights during REM sleep, and it's absolutely crucial for preventing burnout. Chronic sleep deprivation, on the other hand, it fundamentally impairs cognitive function, decision-making, emotional regulation, leads to errors, decreased output. It's a system running on fumes.
And beyond sleep, the importance of diet and exercise. You just can't overstate it when it comes to being productive and resilient. Nutritious foods provide the consistent energy your brain needs to function optimally. Regular physical activity significantly improves focus and energy, enhances blood flow to the brain, delivers more oxygen. Exercise also releases endorphins, those natural mood boosters, reduces stress, anxiety, improves overall mental health. A balanced diet, consistent movement. They build physical health, resilience, reduce illness risk, enhance your capacity for sustained effort. They truly provide the physical and mental energy you need to perform effectively, allowing you to sustain that work hard ethos without crashing.
And it's not just about what you put into your body or how much rest you get. That's interesting. The sources also highlight the incredible importance of family and friends for sustained productivity and well-being. Your support network. They provide crucial emotional support, encouragement, understanding, helps you manage stress, stay motivated through challenges. Sharing goals with family or friends can foster accountability, keeps you on track. Spending quality time with loved ones also encourages efficiency, right? You want to get your task done so you can prioritize those connections. Plus, they can offer networking opportunities. And most importantly, strong relationships are directly linked to better mental health, reduced stress. foundational for sustained creativity and productivity. So while these are personal choices, the insight for corporate culture is this. A great operating system doesn't just demand hard work, it sustains it. A culture that genuinely prioritizes and enables employee wellness through flexible hours, mental health resources, promoting work-life balance isn't just being nice. It's making a strategic investment in the long-term health, creativity, resilience of its human processors, ensuring they don't crash from overload.
Okay, our second core component is play by the rules. This principle basically states that integrity is non-negotiable, full stop. It demands unwavering adherence to ethical principles, accountability at every level, ensuring trust and fairness are upheld within the organization. This means absolutely no dishonesty, no deception, certainly no theft. Operating with integrity means consistently doing the right thing, even when it's difficult, costly, or when no one is watching. It requires honesty and transparency in all dealings with clients, partners, and especially with colleagues. This isn't just about avoiding lawsuits. This is the bedrock of credibility. Long-term relationships, both internal and external. A system without integrity will eventually just self-destruct.
And what's truly fascinating here is how this concept, play by the rules, seems to have these universal ethical foundations. Our sources point out that the Ten Commandments, those biblically rooted principles, are echoed across virtually all major religious traditions. It suggests a shared moral framework that transcends time and geography. Pretty amazing.
Yes, it's quite profound, really. It suggests a fundamental human understanding of what builds a stable society or any group endeavor. For instance, in Islam, the five pillars provide a moral framework. The declaration of faith, Shahada, is akin to having no other gods. Prohibitions on theft and adultery align with the commandments. Hinduism upholds ahimsa, non-violence, reflecting do not murder. Dharma, moral duty, stresses truthfulness, no theft. Aparigraha, non-possessiveness, aligns with do not covet. Buddhism's eightfold path includes right speech, similar to bearing no false witness. Its principle of non-harming aligns with do not murder. Confucianism values respecting elders, ancestors, echoing honor parents. And Ren, benevolence, supports kindness, honesty. Even Sikhism emphasizes honesty, equality, selfless service, aligning with no falsehood, coveting, or theft. What's truly fascinating here, as you said, is how these seemingly disparate traditions converge on core values: integrity, respect, honesty. This isn't just history, it's insight into what sustains any collective human endeavor, including a business. It suggests these principles, honesty, respect, fairness, aren't arbitrary rules from HR. They're foundational operating protocols for any functional human system. A corporate culture that violates these, it's fighting against a fundamental human need for trust and order. It will inevitably face systemic instability, like we saw with Wells Fargo.
That's a powerful thought, and it leads us directly into the third component, innovate. This core principle emphasizes that creativity and adaptability drive progress. You have to keep moving forward. It's about actively encouraging thinking outside the box, embracing change, constantly seeking new, better, more efficient ways to achieve objectives. In today's world, changing so fast, stagnation is the real risk. It's the silent killer for businesses.
Exactly. And innovation isn't limited to just creating new products or services, though that's often what first comes to mind. It extends to improving internal processes, optimizing daily operations for greater efficiency, delivering truly exceptional customer experiences through novel approaches. A culture of innovation is about empowering employees at all levels to share ideas freely, fostering deep collaboration across teams, and crucially, allowing them to experiment without that fear of failure. Risk-taking is integral. Every attempt, even if it doesn't pan out immediately, is seen as a valuable learning opportunity, a stepping stone. It's about building a beta mindset right into the operating system.
We have so many great examples of innovation throughout history, corporate giants, unexpected places. You look at companies like Apple, repeatedly revolutionizing tech with the iPod, iPhone, iPad, not just products, but entire ecosystems. Or Amazon. Didn't just disrupt retail with e-commerce, but then reinvented logistics, cloud computing with AWS. Ford pioneered mass production with the Assemble line, made cars accessible. Google transformed information access, then moved into AI, mobile tech. Tesla revolutionized vehicles, batteries, pushing the whole industry. IBM led in mainframes, now at the forefront of quantum. Airbnb completely disrupted hospitality. Netflix redefined entertainment with streaming. These are all testaments to continuous, bold innovation, often driven by this cultural willingness to challenge the status quo.
But innovation isn't just about high-tech, is it? Our sources highlight Jugaad in India's informal sector. It's a fantastic example of low-tech, resourceful innovation. This concept emphasizes frugal innovation, using limited resources to solve everyday challenges with ingenious simplicity. Think about the Mate Cool refrigerator. Clay-based, runs without electricity, perfect for rural areas with scarce power. Or cycle rickshaws, modified for better efficiency, cargo capacity. Portable food carts optimized for street vendors. These are ingenious, sustainable solutions born out of necessity and creativity. This Jugad mindset, born of necessity, offers a powerful lesson for corporate innovation. It's about fostering a culture where resourcefulness is celebrated, where quick, practical solutions are valued, where teams are empowered to make do, experiment with what's at hand, rather than always waiting for perfect resources or top-down directives. It's about empowering frontline teams to innovate by any means necessary, transforming constraints into catalysts.
The nonprofit sector also shines with innovation, definitely. Grameen Bank pioneered microfinance, empowering low-income individuals, especially women, breaking poverty cycles. Charity. Water uses innovative tech, transparent reporting to provide clean water. Khan Academy democratized education with free online resources, made high-quality learning accessible worldwide. And the ocean cleanup developed tech specifically to remove plastic from oceans, tackling a massive global problem with inventive approaches. They're solving huge problems with often limited resources.
And in the public sector, we see massive transformative innovation too.
Yeah.
The Roman aqueducts, engineering marvels that laid the foundation for urban development, providing clean water. NASA's space program didn't just propel space exploration, it gave us satellite communications, GPS, countless spin-off technologies we use every day. And smart cities now leverage technology to enhance urban living. Innovations in transport, energy efficiency, governance, constantly evolving.
The past gives us great lessons, absolutely. But what about the future? Our sources highlight some fascinating trends already shaping the next wave of innovation and how cultures will need to adapt. We're talking about AI integration. It'll keep transforming industries through automation, personalization, predictive analytics, fundamentally changing how we interact with tech and data. But the deeper cultural implication of AI, it's about fostering this human-in-the-loop mindset, isn't it? Not just automating tasks, but evolving how teams collaborate with intelligent systems, managing the psychological impact of automation, building a culture that values continuous learning to adapt to AI's rapid advancements. Requires cultural agility, not just tech skills. Then there's quantum computing, promises unprecedented power for solving complex problems way beyond current computers, demands entirely new ways of thinking, problem solving within organizations. And of course, renewable energy, advancing sustainable sources to combat climate change, becoming more efficient, accessible, requires businesses to innovate entire supply chains, operational models for sustainability. It's an exciting, rapidly evolving landscape. Demands constant cultural adaptation.
Moving to our fourth core component, treat people with respect. This is truly the cornerstone of inclusivity, and frankly, of any functional human system. It's about valuing every individual, recognizing their inherent worth, their unique contributions, actively building supportive, diverse work environments where everyone can not just exist, but genuinely thrive. This means fostering a culture where every voice is heard, every contribution recognized, where everyone feels a genuine sense of belonging, regardless of background, role, position. It's about cultivating psychological safety.
And it's not just the right thing to do, ethically. It's a powerful, tangible business driver. When people feel respected, they are significantly more engaged, more committed, ultimately more productive. It's that simple. It also dramatically enhances a company's ability to attract and retain top talent, reduces costly turnover. Critically, it strengthens client relationships. People want to work with organizations that demonstrate integrity, value their people. Upholding this commitment means zero tolerance for discrimination, harassment, any form of mistreatment. And it involves fostering an actively inclusive environment through ongoing education, like comprehensive diversity, equity, and inclusion training, DEI training, which helps uncover and address those unconscious biases we all have.
This principle also directly applies to building great teams. Crucial for any organization or even just for your own personal projects. Our sources highlight several key elements. First, setting clear goals. Everyone knows their purpose, what they're striving for. Then, defining roles and responsibilities. Prevents confusion, ensures accountability. Establishing open communication channels, where everyone feels comfortable sharing ideas, concerns without fear of reprisal. That's paramount. Critically, there must be trust and respect among team members. Promotes collaboration, mutual reliance. Diversity, bringing a variety of skills, experiences, viewpoints, demonstrably enhances problem solving and innovation. It's a strength. And finally, consistent recognition and support for individual and team achievements. Essential for boosting morale, ensuring everyone has the resources, the encouragement they need to succeed and grow.
And to really build that trust and open communication, great corporate cultures often use specific team-building exercises, things that go beyond just a casual lunch, talking about things like scavenger hunts to encourage problem-solving, collaboration, escape rooms that promote teamwork under pressure, highlight individual strengths, or even blindfolded obstacle courses, actively builds trust as teammates guide each other, forces reliance. Improv games like Yes and, improve communication, active listening, adaptability, encourages building on each other's ideas. Even simple things like volunteering together for the community or outdoor adventures that can profoundly strengthen camaraderie and teamwork, provide shared, meaningful experiences outside the usual work setting, fosters deeper bonds.
But what happens when that respect is violated? Because it does happen. Our sources provide practical advice on confronting workplace issues like sexism and racism, issues that can quickly corrode a healthy culture. For sexism, it's vital to educate and train employees. Gender equality, unconscious bias, raise awareness. It's crucial to address sexist behavior immediately, constructively, make it clear it's unacceptable, establish clear policies against harassment, discrimination. Leaders must, above all, lead by example. Model respectful behavior in every single interaction. For racism, it's about offering targeted education. Help people recognize and address it. Speaking out promptly, directly against racist behavior. Reporting and documenting incidents through formal, impartial channels. That's critical. It's also critical to support affected colleagues. Promote diversity and inclusion in hiring, retention. Maintain an ongoing dialogue for cultural change, continuous improvement.
Okay, the fifth core component, communicate. Effective communication is truly essential for collaboration, period. It's the absolute lifeblood of any successful operating system. Transparency, active listening, constructive feedback. They form the very backbone of strong relationships, successful teamwork within any organization. How information flows, decisions get made, problems get solved.
And it's crucial to remember communication is a two-way street, always. It's not just about expressing yourself clearly, it's equally about actively listening, responding empathetically, seeking feedback consistently, and actually acting on it, engaging in meaningful dialogue that allows you to consider diverse perspectives, resolve misunderstandings, build much stronger relationships with everyone, internal colleagues, direct reports, external clients, partners. It's a difference between just transmitting information and truly connecting.
Our sources outline key attributes of great communication. First, clarity and conciseness. Paramount to prevent misunderstandings, foster efficiency. Ambiguity is the enemy of action, really. Transparency and accountability are also core, keeping everyone updated on progress, successes, challenges. That builds trust, psychological safety, even when things are tough. And valuing diversity in thought is vital. Actively harnessing unique experiences, insights, leads to continuous improvement, innovation, turns potential disagreements into opportunities for growth. Developing these skills requires ongoing training. Active listening, conflict resolution, effective written and verbal expression is a continuous process.
To elaborate on those attributes, the sources offer some top rules for great communication, generally. Always be clear, concise. Listen actively, no interrupting. Practice empathy. Understand the other person's perspective. Maintain a respectful tone, even in disagreement. Being open-minded to different viewpoints, using nonverbal cues like nodding, eye contact, key to showing engagement. Don't forget cultural awareness, norms vary widely, and always follow up to ensure understanding, agreement. For assertive communication, use I statements, be specific about your needs, feelings, stay calm, confident body language, active listening, setting clear boundaries while respecting others' needs. When it comes to respectful communication, the rules include listening without interrupting, using positive, constructive language, avoiding assumptions, being open to feedback, showing gratitude, apologizing when needed, and always focusing on solutions over blame or personal attacks.
Sometimes, communication is about confronting difficult situations. That can be particularly challenging in a professional setting. For instance, if you need to confront a bully in a corporate environment, our sources advise several strategic steps. First, document everything meticulously. Dates, times, specific behaviors, witnesses, provides objective evidence. Maintain professionalism. Stay calm. Resist the urge to react emotionally. Use assertive I statements, like, I feel undermined when you dismiss my ideas in meetings. Express how their behavior specifically affects you. Focus on impact, not accusation. Crucially, seek support. Trusted colleague, manager, HR. Discuss concerns, explore options, consider mediation if necessary. And if the behavior persists, be prepared to take formal action through the proper company channels, like a formal complaint.
And while digital communication is incredibly efficient for so many tasks, there are still crucial times when in-person communication just shines. It provides layers of nuance digital platforms can't replicate, especially true for delivering sensitive news. Empathy, tone of voice, nonverbal cues. Vital for conveying care, understanding. It's also superior for building deep relationships. Trust. Face-to-face interaction fosters stronger bonds. For negotiating, reading nonverbal cues helps gauge reactions, build consensus, identify unspoken concerns. In person is also best for collaborative brainstorming, facilitates spontaneous ideas, immediate feedback, group synergy. Also superior for conflict resolution, allows directness, empathetic listening, de-escalating tensions through presence. Finally, for hands-on training, complex problem solving, immediate feedback, direct demonstration in person are invaluable.
Right. And to make those conversations in person or virtual more impactful, active listening is absolutely key. It's a skill you can hone. The top methods: maintain focus. Give the speaker your undivided attention. Put away distractions. Mentally engage. Ask open-ended questions. Clarify understanding. Encourage deeper sharing, not just yes, no. Summarize or reflect key points back. Confirms comprehension, shows you've truly heard them. You also need to show empathy. Verbally, I hear that sounds frustrating, and non-verbally, nodding, eye contact. Avoid judgment. Listen with an open mind, even if you disagree. And finally, respond thoughtfully. Take a moment to process before speaking. Address their message comprehensively, constructively.
Okay, our sixth and final core component, serve. This principle extends beyond the organization itself, beyond its immediate customers. It's about committing to making a positive impact, supporting the broader community, championing causes that reflect the organization's deepest values. It's a broader understanding of responsibility, recognizing a company's role as a citizen, not just an economic entity.
So why does service matter in a corporate context? It might seem secondary sometimes. Our sources emphasize that a company's responsibility extends beyond just products, services, profits. It's about creating meaningful change, fostering goodwill among employees, clients, partners. By actively collaborating on charitable projects, supporting local initiatives, engaging in environmental efforts, organizations can build deeper connections with stakeholders, amplify their collective impact. This commitment often includes promoting social, environmental sustainability, reducing environmental footprints, ethical supply chains, investing in employee and community well-being beyond basic requirements. It's not just PR, it's embedding purpose into the operating system.
This commitment to service also extends to empowering employees directly. Organizations should provide meaningful opportunities for volunteer work, individually or as a team, actively supporting time off for these efforts. This not only benefits the community, but fosters profound personal growth, fulfillment among the workforce. A culture of service inspires employees, enhances morale, truly aligns their daily work with a larger, more meaningful purpose, leads to greater job satisfaction, retention. When employees feel their company is making a difference, they feel a deeper connection to their work.
When we talk about service, we often think about exceptional customer service too, right? Which can be a huge inspiration for this broader mindset of serving. Think of Zappos again. Renowned for 247 service, 365-day returns, reps spending hours helping customers, even sending them to competitors. Nordstrom famously took back tires for return, even though they don't sell them, just to satisfy a customer who made a mistake. It wasn't about the tires, it was about trust. Amazon's seamless experience, responsive service, one-day shipping, revolutionized expectations. The Ritz-Carlton empowers employees to spend up to $2,000 per guest to create exceptional experiences without needing manager approval. Imagine that level of trust. And Disney's magical experiences. Meticulous attention to detail, consistently friendly, helpful staff. Sets a gold standard in making customers feel valued, enchanted. It's all about going way beyond the transaction.
And beyond customer service, our sources also point to inspiring examples of selfless service from historical figures. Their impact transcends time. Mother Teresa dedicated her life to helping the poorest, most marginalized. Radical compassion, Mahatma Gandhi. Nonviolent resistance led India's independence, inspired civil rights movements worldwide, Florence Nightingale. Revolutionized healthcare, nursing practices, significantly reduced mortality in hospitals. Martin Luther King Jr. advanced civil rights through peaceful protests, powerful oratory, challenged deep injustices, and Oskar Schindler risked his life, his fortune to save over 1,000 Jewish people during the Holocaust. These individuals embody the ultimate spirit of service, demonstrating profound impact through dedication to the well-being, the dignity of others.
And for you, the listener, the sources highlight how volunteering can directly enhance your professional skills, especially customer service skills. Interacting with diverse groups in often unpredictable situations hones your communication skills, makes you clearer, more adaptable. Engaging in service deepens empathy, understanding. Crucial for handling customer concerns with compassion. Addressing unexpected challenges, organizing a food drive, assisting at a shelter builds problem-solving skills. Overcoming difficulties strengthens patience, resilience. Plus, collaborative volunteering improves teamwork, leadership. All these traits are directly transferable. delivering exceptional customer experiences, building trust, loyalty in any professional setting. Makes you a more rounded, effective contributor. We've talked about innovation as a core cultural component, but it's so central to greatness, isn't it? Especially today. It deserves a closer look. It's not just about what to do, but how the best companies and leaders actually do it. It's about embedding innovation into the very operating system of the organization, making it a natural, continuous process, not just a project.
This raises a really important question. What organizational structures, what leadership philosophies truly foster breakthrough innovation? When we look at Google and then iconic figures like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, we see recurring patterns that go far beyond just product development. It's about creating an environment where audacious ideas aren't just tolerated, but actively encouraged, given the resources to flourish, viewed as essential for long-term survival, growth.
Let's take a deep dive into Google's innovation model, because it's really a masterclass in cultural design for innovation. One of their most famous cultural innovations is the 20% time policy. You mentioned it earlier. Allows employees to dedicate up to 20% of their work week, basically 1 day out of 5, to passion projects, aligned with Google's mission, but outside their main job. The impact has been phenomenal. It empowered creativity, gave employees agency, directly resulted in huge products like Gmail, Google News, AdSense. It fosters intrinsic motivation. People work on ideas they genuinely care about. And it provides organizational flexibility, helps Google uncover innovative ideas that might not emerge through traditional top-down planning. It's like formalizing serendipity.
And beyond 20% time, Google embraces this fail fast, learn faster mentality. It's almost a mantra there, a crucial aspect of their innovative culture. They actively encourage risk-taking, experimentation, viewing failure not as a setback, not something to be punished, but as a crucial stepping stone to success, a data point. Employees are empowered to propose projects, test hypotheses, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed, knowing valuable lessons will be extracted regardless. This high tolerance for risk significantly accelerates their pace of innovation, allows them to rapidly iterate, refine solutions, constantly pushing boundaries. It's embedded in their feedback loops.
And Google has specific organizational enablers that support this. Makes it more than just a philosophy, right? They maintain a relatively flat structure, minimizes bureaucracy, promotes open communication across levels. Ideas don't get stuck in hierarchy. They also boast a truly diverse talent pool, bringing together people from a broad range of disciplines, backgrounds, fosters powerful cross-pollination of ideas. Their decision-making is heavily data-driven, using A/B testing, machine learning models to validate ideas rapidly, objectively. And there's a strong emphasis on continuous learning, significant investments in training, internal knowledge sharing, workshops, keeps the workforce agile, up to date.
Google's research labs, like Google Research and DeepMind, are also quite unique in how they blend academic freedom with vast corporate resources. Creates environments where researchers can pursue highly ambitious long-term goals. There's a strong emphasis on interdisciplinary collaboration, combining expertise from AI, quantum computing, natural language processing, leads to breakthroughs you wouldn't get from siloed teams. These labs also tackle moonshot projects via X, formerly Google X, high-risk, high-reward initiatives solving massive global problems, Waymo self-driving cars, the retired Loon internet balloons. Researchers have open access to Google's huge computational power, enormous data sets, cutting-edge tools, and they're encouraged to publish findings, strengthening ties with the global academic community, contributing back.
It's clear Google also understands the critical role of small, focused teams in fostering innovation. Their 3-person team idea is a great example. They believe small, dedicated teams are far more effective than large, unwieldy groups for driving innovation, efficiency. These teams usually have a product manager, user needs, market, an engineer, technical implementation, and a designer, intuitive, user-friendly solution. This trio balances tech, usability, strategic goals, stays agile, efficient, combines diverse skills. These small teams get significant autonomy. Experiment, make decisions without the bottlenecks of larger teams or bureaucracy. Directly contributed to Gmail. Google maps success by speeding up decisions, empowering frontline creativity.
And this philosophy is echoed by Amazon's two-pizza team rule, famously from Jeff Bezos. Rule is simple. A team should be small enough that 2 pizzas can feed everyone, usually 6 to 10 people. The idea is these small teams are structured to be autonomous, take full ownership of their projects or services, operate almost like mini startups within the larger company. This decentralization allows for much faster decision-making, no need for multiple management approvals. Crucial for Amazon's culture of rapid experimentation, innovation, especially when distributed. Fewer communication channels also reduce complexity, misunderstandings, ensures communication isn't a bottleneck, allows faster iteration cycles, a core tenet of their OS.
Now let's look at how iconic leaders foster innovation, starting with Steve Jobs at Apple. His approach was truly multifaceted, deeply ingrained in Apple's cultural DNA. He had this relentless, almost obsessive focus on simplicity and design excellence. Demanded every Apple product be intuitive, beautiful, aesthetically pleasing, constantly pushed engineers to strip away unnecessary features, resulted in iconic, minimalist products like the iPod, iPhone, iMac. He also insisted on tight integration between hardware and software, to deliver a seamless user experience. Believed the entire product, chip to interface, should feel cohesive, magical.
Jobs also famously championed cross-disciplinary collaboration. He called it technology married with liberal arts, married with the humanities, said it yields us the results that make our hearts sing. He deliberately brought together diverse teams, engineers, designers, marketers, artists, encouraged them to collaborate, often in challenging but ultimately fruitful ways, to fuel groundbreaking products. His insistence on perfection was legendary. Reviewed prototypes repeatedly, rejected designs that didn't meet his exacting standards, famously delayed launches until he was completely satisfied, even if it cost a lot. This cultural trait instilled deep pride in craftsmanship across Apple.
He was a master of focus, too, ruthless prioritization. Famously believed in saying no to 1,000 things to concentrate Apple's resources on a few truly great ideas. When he returned to Apple, dramatically streamlined product lines to a handful of flagships allowed Apple to execute at an incredibly high level, avoid dilution of effort, and his innovation was profoundly user-centric. Famously said, "People don't know what they want till you show it to them." No, it wasn't arrogance. It was about anticipating consumer needs, creating products that were not just functional but delightful, intuitive. Stemmed from his deep empathy for the user experience.
Jobs fostered innovation by organizing Apple into small, autonomous teams. Operated with a startup mentality within the larger structure, he was directly involved in their work. Offered detailed feedback, challenged ideas, inspired creativity, pushed boundaries, maintained relentless curiosity, drew inspiration from diverse fields like architecture, calligraphy, typography, constantly exploring new ideas that could apply to tech. His visionary leadership, often called a reality distortion field, inspired teams to achieve what seemed impossible. Also a master storyteller, marketer. Framed products not just as gadgets, but tools for creativity, self-expression. Crucially, he embraced failure as a learning opportunity. Applied lessons from his ousting from Apple, his successes at NXT, Pixar. His long-term vision wasn't driven by short-term profits, but by a desire to revolutionize industries, leave a lasting legacy. Embedded this forward-looking perspective into Apple's culture.
Then there's Elon Musk, the driving force behind Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, the Boring Company. Wow. His approach to innovation is characterized by audacious, bold vision. He sets incredibly ambitious long-term goals, colonizing Mars, accelerating sustainable energy transition, fusing human and AI. This gives his mission-driven companies this profound sense of purpose, attracts top talent, inspires relentless effort. It's a vision that permeates every layer of their operating system.
Musk famously employs first principles thinking. Means deconstructing challenges down to fundamental truths rather than just iterating on existing designs or accepting conventional wisdom. For example, at SpaceX, he questioned why rockets were so expensive, identified reusability as the core solution, not just building bigger expendable rockets. At Tesla, challenged battery production costs by examining raw materials, scaling manufacturing processes from the ground up. This approach lets his teams create truly novel solutions. He also embodies relentless iteration and extreme risk-taking, encourages that fail fast, learn faster mentality. Vividly evident in SpaceX's frequent Starship test launches, rapid prototyping cycles, his extremely high tolerance for risk means he invests in projects others deem too impractical, impossible, fundamentally alters the risk profile of his organizations.
Musk also excels at recruiting exceptional talent, hires individuals deeply passionate about the mission, capable of operating at a very high pace, actively favors small, agile teams, gives them significant responsibility, direct access to him, and leads with a notoriously hands-on approach, directly challenges teams to think bigger, move faster, champions flatten hierarchies, open communication, encourages direct dialogue across levels, minimizes bureaucracy, ensures quick decision-making, prevents information silos. His relentless work ethic, often 8,100 hours a week, sets an extraordinary pace, embodies the work hard principle at an extreme level.
He's known for bold, sometimes controversial decision-making, pivoting Tesla from luxury to mass market, pushing boundaries with Falcon Heavy, Starship, often uses vertical integration, bringing manufacturing, supply chains in-house. maintains control, innovates faster, reduces reliance on external suppliers. Musk also prioritizes technology and innovation over traditional marketing, lets the product speak for itself, engages directly with the public on social media, leverages enthusiasm, builds loyal customer bases who feel part of his mission, deliberately targets industries ripe for disruption, EVs, aerospace, energy, neurotechnology, always aiming to revolutionize the status quo, not just compete within it.
Finally, let's just touch on the best research departments around the world. They're the very core of breakthroughs, constantly upgrading the global operating system of knowledge. We're talking places like Bell Labs, Transistor, Laser, UNIX, MIT Lincoln Lab, National Security Tech, CERN Higgs Boson, World Wide Web Birthplace, IBM Research AI, Quantum Leader, Germany's Max Planck Society, renowned for basic science.
And, of course, Google Research leading AI, ML advancements, NASA pioneering space exploration, countless satellite tech, Toyota Research pushing robotics, sustainable energy, DeepMind, AlphaGo, AlphaFold breakthroughs, Microsoft Research Force and computer science AI. These places share common traits critical for innovation. Strong vision, leadership prioritizing long-term research, interdisciplinary collaboration breaking silos, access to vast resources, cutting-edge tools, funding, true intellectual freedom to innovate without immediate commercial pressure. They attract global talent, focus on strategic partnerships, embrace diversity of thought, support calculated risk-taking, offer balanced autonomy to teams, and foster open communication, sharing research freely. These are the environments where fundamental breakthroughs aren't just hoped for, but systematically created, consistently pushing the boundaries of what's known.
Our world is constantly changing, isn't it?
Right.
And corporate cultures have to adapt. Stagnation is just a death sentence, really.
Yeah.
One of the biggest shifts recently, fundamentally altering how we work, challenging established operating systems, is the widespread adoption of remote work. This has tested organizational cultures in ways we've never seen before, forced a rethink of traditional structures.
It really raises that important question. How does an operating system, often designed for a centralized in-office environment, adapt to a drastically different distributed one? The shift to remote work has dramatically tested corporate cultures, requires fundamental rethinking of how teams interact, how productivity is measured, how culture is maintained, nurtured when people aren't physically together. But crucially, it has also offered incredible opportunities, tapping into global talent pools, achieving significant cost reductions, enhancing employee well-being through greater flexibility.
Let's look at some of the key benefits of remote work. They can be huge drivers for a company. First, unparalleled access to global talent pools. No longer restricted by geography. Can tap into highly skilled professionals anywhere. Brings diverse perspectives, specialized expertise not available locally. Second, significant cost reductions. Primarily savings on expensive office space, utilities, other overheads. Frees up capital for other investments. And third, often leads to improved employee satisfaction and retention. Flexibility enhances job satisfaction, work-life balance, autonomy. Reduces costly turnover, improves overall morale.
And we have some excellent examples of companies really excelling in remote work. Shows how a culture can be deliberately designed for distribution. GitLab is a fully remote trailblazer. Over 1,700 team members, 65 plus countries. Their success, largely due to comprehensive documentation, a massive 2,000 plus page handbook detailing everything, and a strong emphasis on asynchronous communication, allows people across time zones to work efficiently without real-time dependency. Spotify has its work from anywhere program. Employees choose remote, in-office, hybrid. They invest heavily in collaboration tools, Slack, Zoom, Miro, plus employee support like home office allowances. Automatic, the creators of WordPress, fully remote, 90 plus countries. Focus on open communication, internal blogging, Slack. Foster cohesion with annual company retreats bringing everyone together. Shopify also made a strategic shift to digital by default. Proactively invested in leadership training for distributed teams, robust remote onboarding processes to integrate new hires effectively.
These innovative companies, they organize themselves for remote success by establishing strong communication frameworks, using tools like Slack, Trello, ensuring comprehensive documentation so info is accessible to everyone, regardless of location. They make significant investments in robust tech infrastructure, enable seamless remote operations, secure VPNs, cloud-based platforms, also prioritize fostering team cohesion, creative virtual meetups, online social events, strategic in-person retreats to build relationships, flexible work policies, allowing employee choice, autonomy, key to boosting morale, trust. Crucially, they invest heavily in developing their leadership to effectively manage distributed teams, focusing on results and trust over constant oversight. That's a big shift.
Of course, remote work isn't without its challenges, which an effective operating system must address, but there are clear cultural and practical solutions. Communication barriers. Miscommunication, feeling disconnected virtually, overcome by encouraging asynchronous communication for thoughtful responses, clear protocols, comprehensive documentation, employee isolation, remote workers feeling disconnected, lonely. Addressed by actively fostering virtual team building, online social spaces, accessible mental health support, and for performance monitoring. Instead of tracking hours or presenteeism, the solution is to shift culturally towards outcome-based metrics, truly valuing results, impact over mere presence. It's about building trust in your team's ability to deliver. Now, if we connect this to the bigger picture, transforming a toxic corporate culture into a good one. It's one of the most challenging but also most rewarding endeavors for any organization. It's like rewriting an entire operating system while the computer is still running. Requires incredible precision, sustained commitment, deep insights into human behavior. The process is not a quick fix. Demands intentional, sustained effort. Strong leadership, clear vision for the new culture, dedicated effort to rebuild trust, fundamental reshaping of core values, behaviors at every level. It's definitely a marathon, not a sprint.
Absolutely. Our sources outline key, deliberate steps to such a profound transformation. It absolutely must start with strong leadership commitment. Leaders walk the talk, embody the desired behaviors, act as role models, champions of the new culture. Then comes diagnosing the issues. Objective analysis, employee surveys, anonymous interviews, cultural audits, pinpoint root causes of toxicity, resistance. Next, redefining core values. Make them not just buzzwords, but clear, actionable principles guiding daily decisions, behaviors. Transparency and communication are vital. Being open, honest about why change is happening, the challenges, the vision for the future, helps build buy-in. Accountability and incentives must then be aligned with the new values. Rewarding desired behaviors, addressing undesirable ones, and finally investment in employee development. Training, mentoring, resources to help everyone adapt to and thrive within the new cultural environment.
And we have some incredible corporate culture turnaround stories that exemplify these steps. Shows that even deeply ingrained negative cultures can be changed. Microsoft, for example, under Steve Ballmer, famously known for a cutthroat, siloed culture, that infamous stack ranking system pitting employees against each other, stifling collaboration, innovation. But under Satya Nadella, took over in 2014, culture profoundly transformed to one of collaboration, empathy, a growth mindset. Nadella eliminated stack ranking, fostered open communication, prioritized learning from failures, united teams around cloud AI. The result: Microsoft's market value surged, regained status as an innovation leader, proves cultural change can drive financial success.
Uber, too. After its highly publicized toxic culture harassment, discrimination under Travis Kalanick, made a significant shift. When Dara Khosrowshahi became CEO in 2017, immediately began the hard task of rebuilding trust. Introduced new core values, inclusion, ethics, revamped hiring for cultural fit, created more transparent reporting for misconduct, actively addressed past issues. Result was an improved public image, greater operational stability, gradual rebuilding of employee morale. Demonstrates transparency, focus on values can redeem a damaged brand.
Ford Motor Company, mid-2000s. Fragmented, struggling financially, plagued by internal fiefdoms, different divisions acting like separate companies. Al Mulally became CEO in 2006, implemented his One Ford plan, unified the culture, established clear, singular vision, promoted open data sharing and weekly reviews. Crucially, removed the stigma around admitting mistakes, encouraged honesty about challenges. This cultural cohesion, transparency, collective responsibility helped Ford avoid bankruptcy, achieve record profits. Proves aligning culture around common purpose can save an enterprise.
Starbucks faced declining sales, low morale late 2000s, rapid expansion diluted core values, that third-place mission. Howard Schultz returned as CEO in 2008, bravely reignited their culture, famously closed all U.S. stores for barista retraining, emphasized quality coffee, customer connection, not just speed. Significantly reinvested in employee benefits, healthcare, college tuition, showed commitment to their well-being, refocused on the third-place mission, a community hub, led to renewed reputation, significantly improved employee engagement, revitalization of the brand's cultural identity.
And Lego faced severe financial struggles, diluted brand early 2000s, over-diversified way beyond its core product, underwent creative revival under CEO Jürgen Vignutstorp, streamlined products, reconnected with core value of play, creativity, critically engaged employees, even external fans, directly in product development, fostered community of co-creation. This cultural shift, prioritizing core strengths, collective creativity, transformed Lego into one of the most admired, profitable brands globally. Sustained growth by leveraging its cultural heritage.
The lessons from these successes are crystal clear, aren't they? Authentic leadership truly drives cultural change, sets the vision, models the way. Culture must align explicitly with strategy, acts as an enabler, not a blocker. Transparency and accountability are absolutely key. Build trust, ensure commitments are kept. Employee engagement is vital. Get buy-in, active participation in the transformation. And perhaps most importantly, it always requires long-term commitment, not a sprint, a marathon of consistent effort, reinforcement, adaptation, fundamentally rewriting the operating system bit by bit.
Conversely, we've seen failures that highlight just how difficult turnarounds can be when these elements are missing. Yahoo, for example. Despite multiple leadership changes, efforts under Marissa Mayer struggled persistently with a fragmented, risk-averse culture, deep resistance to change, continually hindered progress, ultimately contributed to its decline. Similarly, Sears failed repeatedly to adapt its culture to changing market dynamics, led to profound loss of morale, loyalty among employees, inconsistent leadership, undermining restructuring efforts at every turn. These cases underscore that without genuine cultural transformation, even strategic overhauls are likely to just fail.
So, what makes cultural turnarounds truly work? What distinguishes the successes from the failures? It seems to boil down to a few critical factors. Clarity of purpose, everyone understands the new vision, values, why it matters. Consistency in reinforcing new behaviors, expectations, from meetings to performance evaluations. An employee-centric approach, genuinely addressing concerns, fostering engagement, investing in their growth. And finally, measuring progress. Tracking both cultural shifts and business metrics, ensures accountability, highlights areas for continuous improvement. It's like designing a new, more robust operating system from the ground up, while keeping critical functions running and involving every user in the upgrade. So we've taken a really deep dive into corporate culture as the operating system for organizations. We've seen its profound impact on everything: productivity, talent retention, innovation, even a company's very survival. We've explored the 6 core components of a great culture: work hard, play by the rules, innovate, treat people with respect, communicate, and serve. Each a crucial piece of that powerful unseen OS. And we've learned from both triumphs and challenges. Companies like Google and Zappos built great cultures from the start. And Microsoft's incredible turnaround, showing even deep issues can be transformed with deliberate effort.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, it becomes really clear that culture isn't just some abstract concept floating around. It's the living, breathing foundation of everything an organization achieves or fails to achieve. It's not something that happens by accident, a byproduct of operations. Instead, it's a deliberate design choice, a continuous process of nurturing values, behaviors that consistently drive success. Understanding this fundamental truth is really powerful, offers a different lens to view organizational performance.
This raises an important question then for you, our listener. Consider your own operating system, whether it's for your team, your business, your personal approach to work, maybe even your daily life. How can understanding these principles, hard work, integrity, innovation, respect, communication, and service, allow you to not just adapt, but actively design the environment for your own greatness? What's one small, deliberate change you can make today, right now, to upgrade your operating system based on what we've discussed? And how might that small change ripple outwards for perhaps a profound impact? Something to think about.